दुनिया स्क्रीन से जुड़ी हुई है. Laptops, smartphones, but using those is not easy for everyone. Our first inventor, Vijay, wants to make sure that no one is left behind. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you feeling right now?
A little nervous.
Okay, don't feel nervous. Turn that nervous energy into excitement. Why don't you tell us your name and start with just telling us about where you're from?
I am Vijay from Bangalore. I am an educator, inventor, and entrepreneur.
Wonderful. Can you tell us one thing about yourself that very few people know?
So I've been to Antarctica, southernmost,
Wow.
southernmost continent.
What took you there?
I set up the world's first 3D printed wind turbine in Antarctica.
Wow,
So I was-
bravo.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So I was representing India on an expedition there.
That sounds like an awesome experience, and hopefully this one will be the next one on your list of awesome experiences.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So let's hear it. Let's hear what you're working on.
Okay, so let's do an experiment. I want you to close your eyes and reach for your smartphones.
I know where it is, so. Okay.
Oh, now I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't even know if it's
Got it.
unlocked now.
Okay, now unlock your smartphones.
I have to unlock it?
Yeah. And go to your dialer.
Go to your dialer.
Go to your dialer.
Okay. I
And
think I can
type
do.
in 100.
Oh my God, who am I calling?
Have I died?
No, you haven't done anything. You can see what you have done.
Just relax. It's okay. He's so
Okay.
full. He's gone into. Dhruv is in full panic mode. He's like, what do I do? What's going to happen next?
The experience that you had is faced by millions of visually impaired users, smartphone users all across the world. And primarily, again, this is the reason why most of them don't even have smartphones. In a survey done in 2019, 8 out of 10 visually impaired cell phone users still use feature phones.
Okay.
I mean, feature phones with those buttons. This idea sort of came to me when I was at a conference for persons with disabilities. And I was having dinner with a blind girl. And after the conversation, we were exchanging our numbers. And I was alarmed at how difficult it was to input. She had a smartphone. She was very uncomfortable putting in. And I was like, again, this is, that was what, 2018. And this is 2018. This can't be this difficult to input like a number onto a phone. And that is where the seed of the idea to create a better interface for a smartphone really came in. After this, again, I spent some time, hacked together something. Again, I broke open Bluetooth keyboards and sort of arranged the keyboards in different way. So the hypothesis is that just like QWERTY keyboards, the visually impaired use Braillers or Braille typewriters. So that is what I thought to sort of digitize and bring into the modern age.
Okay.
So I created like a crude prototype, and I found somebody who's visually impaired in Bangalore, gave it to him. Initially, I was a little nervous whether it'll work, will not work. But I think within a couple of minutes, once he knew where the button placements were, he was able to just type. Like no explanation about how the buttons work, all of that. He was just able to type.
It was very intuitive.
It was intuitive. So I'm creating basically a keyboard interface for the visually impaired to use smartphones and laptops more easy.
Wonderful. Could you just break down your device a little bit, explain the hardware, the design that you currently have in Vision?
So in terms of hardware, it is very similar to existing Bluetooth keyboards. So using existing chipsets, I mean, just buttons. So in terms of, because the hardware aspect of it is so simple, I can basically get the price of this, the bill of materials for this item incredibly low so that it becomes almost like a no-brainer to invest in something like this for somebody who's visually impaired.
Are you someone who is able to read Braille yourself?
Yes, I am. So I'm very slow, but I know the entire Braille alphabet.
I have a question for you. How does it work? Does it need its own battery, or does it connect to your phone battery?
So the first prototype that I had done, it was connected to the phone battery.
Okay.
But again, so that's the great thing about going to the users and testing,
yeah.
figuring out how to plug it in, which direction to plug it in. I know this is before USB-C.
Right.
For somebody who's visually impaired, you're trying to make it as simple to use as possible. What we want to do is have its own internal battery based on Bluetooth, so it automatically pairs when you turn the device on, and access to all the features on his phone.
So now, how does one input an emoji or an emoticon into this? Is that something that's been factored in?
That's a very good question, and that was the first thing that came out from the visually impaired person. Yet, how do I put in smileys?
Okay.
Since those are characters, you can't really figure out what the new age emoticons or emojis are. But you can go to your old school, like, I think I am a purist that way. I like the old school.
And you're the most interesting engineer I've met.
Well done. Thank you very much for your idea.
Thank you so much.
Great work.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's bring Ahana out. I
Nobody
know.
wants to stand next to me. Bhasin, you're looking really nice today, like a Haryali tikka.
But not my...
Oh my God.
That is because I'm vegan.
Oh my God. Thank you very much.
Great
Let's
work.
go.
Thank Is this something that can be accepted at a mass level? Will it be, usable by everyone who's visually impaired? It remains to be seen because I wouldn't know, but if there's both a sound sensor as well as a touch sensor, would it complicate it?
I think it'll be actually interesting if we had a larger data set or whatever,
Yeah.
research on how have the visually impaired been navigating this.
Yeah, I'm actually now very curious to know how they managed.
Yeah.
Hey man, welcome to the asylum. What all are we working on?
I'm building a keyboard interface for the visually impaired so that they can interface with technology better, smartphones and PCs.
Tell me about the device, like how does it currently interact with your phone?
It just shows up as a Bluetooth keyboard. The objective was to have it as hassle-free as a pairing experience as possible.
A lot of devices that are directly connected to your phone by USB. Basically, you're passing on and charging both the devices at the same time. And this one, which is going to be your keyboard then, doesn't really even require a battery.
Right.
So you take away the battery, you take away your requirement of Bluetooth.
Right now, all the confusion that I have is just decisions that I want to make in putting Bluetooth versus USB. I'm not sure.
The key USP of this is that for a blind person to be able to navigate his phone. Let's do it in the simplest possible way forward. And then let's see whether we need Bluetooth or not.
Yeah.
Because more things that you add, you're adding to an accessibility.
Yeah, 100%, I agree. I think this time around it was not a technical challenge as much as it was understanding a completely new subject of Braille and how people use it and empathizing with those people. I began by focusing myself on research and documentation. Understanding all the nuances of Braille, all the rules and the laws that govern it. I was just watching a lot of videos and understanding the problem, understanding, what phones can do, what phones cannot do, what is the limit to the accessibility of Android phones to somebody who's visually impaired. Then with a clear idea of the features that I wanted to implement, I planned out the rest of the project. I used a digital fabrication workflow where I leveraged modern computing power to create and design my project digitally. I've designed a circuit board and figured out all the placements and connections of all the microchips and components on my device. Started on the 3D design of the outer look and feel of the Braille keyboard. I 3D printed each iteration of my design until I finalized with something that I was really happy with.
You're trying to deprive yourself from one of your senses and then trying to create something for that person. Now, that's not an easy thing to do. It's now a very, very different ballgame.
Navbar, overview, button, out of list. Attach, button, out of list. Phone, has one notification. Calendar schedule. H. B. L. L. O. O deleted. O. Hello.
I convert all the research and documentation of all the rules and laws of Braille into a software algorithm and write a program to give the device intelligence. And with the USB connection that I had designed into the PCB, I can upload my code onto the device. The final step is to assemble all the parts together. I will always keep inventing and keep making things and keep doing things for other people. And because it's just addictive, the entire process is addictive. Being able to create something is addictive. I've developed a Braille keypad to be used along with smartphones. So it has 6 circular buttons. Those are the Braille buttons, and type in not only characters, but numbers, symbols, and also contractions and grade 2 Braille. And currently the device is set up with TalkBack enabled on an Android smartphone.
Search. Options. Notes.
The final feature of the Braille pad is that you also have shortcuts. So all your Braille characters from A to Z also have different meanings when you long press them. And there is documentation on the table as well. So I would encourage our friends here to help out our visually impaired friends to understand, navigating this device.
इसमें ये ब्रेल पैड है, आप दोनों हाथ से ऐसे पकड़ेंगे ना, दोनों हाथ से पकड़िए। ये 6 है ना, 6 कीज हैं। ये 1 2 3 4 5 6। अभी आपने दबाया तो एंटर हुआ।
और ये डिलीट है।
हाँ, 6 के नीचे डिलीट है।
ओके, समझ।
और ये टॉप की है ऑल्ट। I love the product. It's very creative, very innovative. It's very easy, user-friendly, and they could type things, and then it gives you that live audio feedback. So it corrects you, it gives you a feedback. So it was great to see them using it.
Can I write my name?
Yes, you can write your name.
Capital R. Capital O. Capital H. Capital I. Capital T.
When I touch the keyboard, I feel it is mini keyboard. So it is very easy to access. Because of voice assistant, we can type fast.
I'll write cat because I like cats.
Yes.
Capital C. Capital A. Capital T.
For people who are into Braille and who want to stick with that language, for them it's pretty good. But it is not that mobile because using that keyboard by keeping your phone on side. So for me, it was not more mobile. Instead of that, I could use voice to text.
ब्रेल कीबोर्ड बहुत इजी है, वो बहुत इजीली यूज कर सकते थे। दोनों ने बहुत इजीली यूज किया और कभी भी प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं हो सकता है। वो लोग मोबाइल भी इजीली यूज कर सकते हैं ब्रेल कीबोर्ड से।
Hi Vijay, why don't you tell us a little bit about the lab phase?
I think as I worked more on the product, I believed in it more. The more I understood inner workings of Braille, I understood that there's so much more that this device can do.
Can we do a demo? Yeah.
So let's show us the demo.
This is the favorite part, putting things into action.
Yeah. This is so cool. You must be so proud to see your whole product and prototype right here.
So you can turn it on, it'll vibrate.
Okay.
So nice. As soon as you do that, it will show up as a standard Braille interface.
So cool.
So your Braille pad available. I'm pairing.
Got it.
Paired
So
with the device.
the first time setup would require somebody to assist.
Yes.
And then once that's done, then we can. It's like autopilot.
So explain this to me. So I mean, if I'm visually impaired, how will I know what each of these does?
Purposely, I put two different sort of button shapes. The circular buttons are the Braille interface.
Okay.
It's not a standard button mapping to finger mapping as a Braille typewriter. So there's no reinvention of the wheel over there. This is exactly standard. I am using it along with Android's talkback feature. So that's how I know what is happening.
Very nice.
So I go to notes. I'll go to the typing. If I'm typing Inventor challenge, it is INVENT.
Wow.
R.
Very good.
Wow,
Congratulations.
One of the things that I find really fantastic is that you have linked two worlds, right, of language, sound, and for the visually impaired to be able to be part of a world which they would have difficulty in.
Right, 100%.
And you have done a lot. It is amazing. I am just so impressed.
Yeah. Fantastic work, guys.
Nice demo.